Mindful eating is the process of being present whilst we prepare, buy, serve, cook and eat our food with the aim to improve our relationship with food and our overall health. Now, it's so often that we kind of eat on the go, on our commute, at our work, at our desk at work, maybe in front of the TV, and we don't necessarily pay attention to what we're eating. But by practicing mindfulness, the aim is to limit those distractions and take time to reconnect with our senses of smell, taste, texture, and just remind ourselves simply of the pleasure that eating can bring without any judgment. Unfortunately, in current day diet culture, there can be a lot of complicated feelings around eating, and we often hear about things like cheat days or having a reward for exercise or treats, and other foods being demonized. And unfortunately, that can lead to lots of pressure and intensity around diets and go on to lead to disordered eating and problems with weight management. So by bringing your attention back to the entire eating experiences and appreciating each mouthful rather than focusing on the emotions and the stress and the worries around eating, we're more likely to achieve a healthy balance. Through mindfulness, we might be able to help listen to our bodies more, know when we're still hungry, know when we're full, and just get a better understanding of the foods that actually make us feel nourished and healthy. Even the simple process of just taking time to eat can actually help, because unfortunately when we're just kind of shoveling food back down our mouths, we can, complete an entire meal within a moment of minutes, and then still feel really hungry and have to go on to eat more snacks and eventually just feel completely stuffed. But by slowing everything down a little bit, we take time to chew, time to appreciate each bite, we're less likely to miss the cues of satiety and overeat, because it can take around 20 minutes for our hunger signals and our fullness signals to actually reach the brain. We know that people that practice mindful eating regularly tend to eat smaller portions, and that can go on to lead to sustained weight loss. But it is important that we know not to practice mindful eating with the aim of losing weight, as that somewhat defeats the object, but it may just be a happy, healthy consequence. Another way in which mindful eating may actually help with maintaining a healthy weight is that by taking the time to see how our eating habits have intertwined themselves with emotions, we're more likely to make better food choices. So, for example, from a very early age, we're often conditioned not to listen to our bodies. We're told that we have to finish our plates, or we can't leave until we've had another bite full, or we might be shamed into asking for second helpings or eating a snack. And I think by relearning our hunger and satiety cues through mindful eating, we may be one step closer to helping us determine what's right for our bodies and our health, and listening to our bodies all over again. It might all sound a little bit easier said than done, and honestly, to start with, it might all feel a bit forced, but eventually it does become second nature. So here are a few tips I have in order to try and get you eating mindfully. Now, number one is to cook. Be involved in the cooking process from start to finish. It will give you the chance to open up your senses, give you the chance to smell, taste, feel the foods in their raw form. And knowing the preparation ingredients that go into your meal does help you to know what you need to nourish yourself. It also gives your body the cues that it might need to prepare for the meal ahead. And if you have children at home, then get them involved too with the whole cooking process, because that way they get to learn at an early age. Now, it's not always fun or possible to cook everything at home yourself. And if you are going out to cafes and restaurants, you can still be mindful there. Just be observant of the foods, what they contain, how they seem to be prepared, what they look like, what they smell like. And that way you can make more informed choices on what you'd like to eat. My second tip is to eat at the table. So when possible, just take time to sit at a table and eat. Don't, go to the sofa and sit where there's a TV or have your phone on. It is sometimes suggested that eating in silence is a way to try and enhance that mindful eating process. But I often find that by having conversation and interactions during your dining experience, it tends to help slow down that process and add to the enjoyment of food. So I think really it's just about what works best for your setup. Number 3, chew. Slow down. Don't rush your food. Take really deliberate bites and deliberate chews, noticing the texture of the food, the temperature, the taste. And finally, number 4, feel all the feels. Focus on how that food makes you feel. The movement of the food through the digestive tract, the tastes that linger on in your mouth, and whether the body is trying to actually tell you something. Explore those sensations of hunger and fullness and take a moment to notice what types of food your body might be hungry for, rather than just autopilot eating.